Hello everyone, welcome to Things Invest, talk about investing, finance, and professional development. For today's items only. If the investment talk today would be Ethereum taking ETH. So it's my third posting as of today, respect to recording time of 8:37 p.m. on the Eastern time. Ethereum current trading $2,905, down about 4% so far. I wasn't planning on posting a third video, but with the negative pressure that we're seeing so far, I want to just come back on a camera, to do more of a live basis type of updates, right? To keep you guys within that sanity frame of reference that we've been talking about, right? It's important that we do not allow emotions and fear to be driving our decisions making. So that's why me just regurgitating or repeating myself by performing the technical analysis to stay within the logical frame of reference is such a critical methodology that we are applying to investing, right? So with respect to some of the news that I've been reading, I would say collectively it's just more negative news on depicting what happened, with respect to this weekend and obviously this Monday sell-off that we've been experiencing so far. And just to recap, in case you haven't watched my video earlier, or the two videos that I posted earlier today, the sell-off is mainly driven by a couple of reasons, right? One is the contagion sweeping from Hong Kong, with respect to the sell-off that we saw on the Asia trading session on Monday yesterday. And also with respect to the default on the bankruptcies of the China Evergrande Group. And with that affectation, subsequently drove some correlations to the US equity market at the same time. The other one would be the Federal Reserve, the two-day meeting that's happening on Tuesday coming up and Wednesday, which we will hear a little bit more about the quantitative tapering, and also obviously with respect to the crypto initializations that, Don Byers, Jerome Powell, Gary Gensler from the SEC, and Janet Yellen has been working progressively on implementing some regulatory or compliance structure onto crypto assets, which subsequently can drive negative pressure. Whenever we hear anything along the line with respect to regulatory pressure, it always drives some sell-off from there, right? It's a good to have, but in a long term, but in the short term, will definitely drive some selling pressure. Another one is the COVID case. It seems like it's spiking in regional levels domestically in the U.S. So with this negative foreshadow as a form of affectation, can definitely drive more sell-off. And also another one I've been just keeping tabs on the factors would be the September historical trends, right? It's always a record month or for the sell-off. It's typically a red September. That's why it's saying for red September, if you may, right? And then the other one is really with respect to the concerns around the brinkmanship in DC, right? As the deadline to raise debt ceiling approaches, obviously with that affectation can drive some fear mongering among investors as well. So it seems like we are hovering down right now, down about 4% respectively. Bitcoin is down even more severely because a lot of the news has been really vocal on Bitcoin, as the leading coin, obviously, down about 8% respectively. And I think with respect to the frame of reference is today, 40K would be a level to dollar cost average at, and I think Bitcoin is actually really oversold at the moment. But we don't see any curvature of bouncing back up right now. So I think the $40,000 today was a relatively good level to buy at. If we break 40, we'll go to 37 and then subsequently 34. And I think those are levels that are very optimal level to dollar cost average at. With respect to Ethereum, we sold down all the way to, again, right, the 2,750 earlier today. If you take a look at it, we were basically like $20 off. So we technically got there today and subsequently got reversed back up because that's a really substantive level of resistance, and that's why we have identified here so far. And I've been screaming 2,750 for about 2-3 weeks so far. And I didn't get in at that level because I was in meetings and I was like recording videos, talking to my work constituents and colleagues today. Just had a bad day, as I mentioned in my previous video, so don't worry about that. But with respect to the level at right now, I think it's not a bad level to buy at. If we hit the 2,750 again, because the RSI is at the 35 0.96 at the moment. But we do not see any curvature of bouncing back up right now. So I think the buying opportunity is definitely here. We'll see how it goes tomorrow, but I think 2007, 2004, are still the level that I would personally be buying at. So I actually have cash reserve on the side. With respect to Dogecoin, 20 cents would be ideal level. I think we're extremely oversold right now. We're at the 29.09 right now. And I said that Dogecoin 20 cents would be an optimal level. I think today is the dip. I think it's not a bad level to be buying Dogecoin at the moment. If we break the 20 cents, I think the next level we'll leap down to would be the 16 cents. But, cost benefits ratio perspective, I think is a relatively good one. So Dogecoin, I don't mind buying right now. I might actually buy some after this. For Cardano, we were trying to get to the next level of $1.87. We are basically hovering around the $2 level, down about 5.41% so far. We try to get there. We broke there, but immediately got bought up because it's $2 mark. It's a relatively substantive flat number, right? That's why people buy at the $2. But if this is not really a substantive level. The next level ideally would be the $1.87. But the real substantive level, if we break that, we have a long way to go to $1.45. And I think $1.45 will be screaming oversold. I think we are already oversold, so maybe incur some risk around the $1.86. Wouldn't be a bad idea, but just know that if we break that, you have a long way to go. Solana, we're still selling off. This is still a bloody bath, but it's obviously normalizing. We're coming back from Mars, which we were way before. On the scale 48.27 out of 70, so it's definitely more optimal, but I think we do not have any platform of substantiveness at the moment, so I will still wait until $66 for me to dollar cost average at. XRP, I think currently we are oversold, so I think buying now is not a bad idea actually. But if you want to have a more optimal level, even better than the level that we're at right now, be a little bit more patient. Wait until the 78 and the 69. I think that's not a bad level at all because we are oversold right now. And I think the rebound is going to be coming relatively sharply because I think, across the board, we kind of overreacted. Because obviously with the catalyst number one on during this weekend with Christine Lagarde from the European Central Bank, and then we're going to hear more negative pressure from the US Central Bank from Jerome Powell later this week. Obviously with all of these catalysts and also on top of the equity sell-off and the COVID variants, it's a really bad mixture today. So I think people are just overreacting. And just to stay within the frame of reference, we are within the panic stage, the capitulations. I think we're at the panic stage right now. I think it's official. I think people are screaming like shit. Everyone is selling. I need to get out. I think that's exactly what's happening right now. And we know that we are near at the bottom coming up, right? We might see a little bit more of a sideways fashion because again, we're oversold, right? We need to kind of cool off a little bit until we continue to rally from there, right? So with respect to the frame of reference, again, 3,000, 2,750, 2,450 for the Ethereum. But if you bought in at the 4,000 or the 3,750, just hold, really, for long term. You will think yourself long term. We do not know if the sell-off that we're experiencing today is driven by whale manipulations. Ultimately, whales do own a lot of the media conglomerates. They do have control over the news that we read. So you have to take everything with a grain of salt, right? So ultimately, holding it long term is always the safest way of investing, and that's what I'm going to plan on doing. I'm going to keep buying the dip until I have 100 Ethereum in total. I have 55 right now, so I still have a way to go. And I need to continue to dollar cost average at the optimal level, right? If it's always like reaching all-time high, I cannot afford to be buying at such premium level, right? And these discounts are blessings from from disguise. So definitely buy at the levels that is incoming, and I recommend, and I'm actually doing so. I'll let you guys know when I actually do so. So this is my third update. Hopefully this is helpful. I know it's an odd hour again, but I just want to make sure that you guys are feeling, safe and logical. Ultimately, that's the most important part. We are not using emotions to invest ever. Okay, so this is that's it. Good night and good morning, depending on where you are, and stay tuned for this to come up. Take care. Bye.